Hello there, and welcome to my weekly review of The Walking Dead: Dead City. Just to recap where we're at, Negan and Maggie have gone on a journey to Manhattan to rescue her son Herschel from a villain named The Crow. They were chased by marshals who ended up dying, and then met a new group of survivors and came up with a plan to take the Crow out once and for all. This week's episode, Everybody Wins a Prize, was directed by Kevin Dowling and written by Eli Joran. It starts off with Luther missing after the events of last week and the group deciding to go through with their plan anyway. The episode sees them enter the Crow's facilities and execute their plan. The writing was highly entertaining. The premise is fantastic and the little trick they pulled was awesome. It really sets up the Crow as a formidable foe and shows us the consequences of the world they live in. It also brought zombies back to the forefront as a serious problem to contend with. We also got a little bit of development from Negan in the form of a flashback to the event that turned him against the Crow, and later on in the episode when the two finally confront each other. I love that we're getting a nuanced view of the people who live in this world and that they aren't afraid to kill characters, even the ones you like. The one part of the writing this week I didn't like and that didn't make any sense was during one sequence one human is surrounded by zombies and being mobbed. They get dragged away and then magically show up unharmed later to save the day. It was lame that they had that person survive off screen and it felt like a huge logical leap. Outside of that one instance, the writing was solid and we got a lot of excitement. Most of the cast wasn't given anything more to do than react. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Zeljko Ivanek got to have two different big confrontations in this episode. In the first, we focus on how the Crow's actions changed Negan into the man he is today, and in the second, we learn that the Crow is different than we imagined him. Zeljko Ivanek as the Crow got a chance this week to shine once again. He creeps us out while he talks to one of his younger subordinates, he surprises us with his joy and elation at seeing Negan again, and he was so cool about the plan he executed this week. Like he couldn't care less about the outcome. He's a ruthless villain and I can't wait to see how they take him down. Jeffrey Dean Morgan got a chance to play young Negan again, and that leather jacket and bat bring up brutal and nostalgic memories. He confronts the Crow twice, and each time we see that the monster is a little more human than he wants to admit. It's just like he's looking into a mirror and seeing something he hates in himself. Morgan did a fantastic job with the emotions this episode. Visually this week they had a lot more undead and a lot more death. It had a few scary scenarios for our heroes to go through, and even a few fake jump scares that ended up just being creepy vibes. They did a good job of the visual journey and making it feel like a dangerous mission into a den of evil. The events that take place after they're inside were great too. The carnage that breaks out is exciting and full of action. There's a ton of fighting to survive, and the little cat and mouse game between Negan and the Crow was filled with suspense. That scene with the Crow talking to his subordinate was so creepy too. The way he gets all close and personal, and then they film it like he's a father figure talking to his figurative son, was setting off all kinds of alarm bells in my head. I didn't like how the zombies ate people though. They get mobbed and then just overwhelmed and eaten alive in the group. We don't really see them die, it's more implied. It's also a little lame given how far they're willing to go in depicting torture victims and the decay of different zombies. Sound-wise, this episode was kind of monotonous. From start to finish, we get tension tracks with an eerie vibe to them. It fits with the mission they're undertaking and definitely helps build out the atmosphere, but all of the music sounded similar. There are only a few moments where they play any other type of music and most of them are short-lived. For example, there's a harmonica that plays while Maggie is telling a story, and some classical music plays once the Crow sets his plan into motion. But other than that, it's all tension tracks. The harmonica was a nice touch to complete the story she was telling, and the classical songs fit with the type of person the Crow is, but the rest of the music just felt like generic horror music. Didn't add anything beyond tension, and it was easily forgettable. Overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought the clash between the two groups ended in a great twist, and I love that the Crow is shaping up to be a great antagonist. Negan and Maggie certainly have their work cut out for them if they want to save Herschel. I like the visual journey, but I wish they'd focused a little more on the deaths and the music could be a little bit more flavorful. It didn't do anything experimental, but it was entertaining. 7 out of 10. And remember, these are just my thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Bye-bye!